It's almost here, kids. The Apple Vision Pro headset is due to ship on February 2nd. Pre-orders start on January. VR headsets in the past have kind of been this weird thing where, you know, your friend has one, but he never uses it. It sits in the corner. You've wanted to try it, but you've been afraid to ask. Well, Apple hopes to change that, but the price, man, looking at other VR headsets, they're so much less expensive. So who is this for? What problem is this trying to solve? So Apple introduced the Apple Vision Pro. Fantastic piece of engineering. There's some great things on there, but the biggest thing is the Vision OS. The Vision OS, which is the operating system that runs the Vision Pro, allows you to interact with it without any keyboard or any mouse. It basically follows your eye and your hand movements when interacting with the device. But the Vision Pro has one major problem, and that's the price. It starts at $3,500. Starts at $3,500. And you know the way Apple works, you can't just walk out just with the unit because you're going to need Apple Care and accessories. And if you wear corrective lenses, you have to pay even more money to get custom Zeiss lenses cut to use the thing. So realistically, nobody's going to walk out of the Apple store with one of these without spending probably over $4,000. It's a tremendous amount of money for something that only you can use. It's not interactive. It's very isolating. You can't show it off to somebody. You put it on your head and then you're in your own little world. If you get a computer, an Apple TV, an iPod, an iPhone, anything, you can actually share the experience with somebody else. I'm dating myself with the iPod. We're going to talk about the iPod in a second. The other question we have to ask about the Apple Vision Pro is, what problem is this trying to solve? When Apple introduced a lot of their groundbreaking products, they solved the problem or created an enhancement. If we go back to the original iPod, yes, there were MP3 players, but there was nothing on the level of the iPod. In 2007, when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone, it was unlike anything before, and you didn't need a stylus to interact with it. It was literally a mobile computer you could carry around, and it changed the world. And in 2015, the Apple Watch extended the functionality of the iPhone on your wrist, and you know where that ended up today. All of those devices were affordable. The average person could go to the Apple store and pick one up. And they did. And they lined up outside the Apple store around the block. People camped out to get these devices. And these devices were small. People carried them around. You could show them off to your friends very easily. You saw people in the mall, at work, at school using these devices, and then you wanted one of these devices. Are we really going to see people walking around the supermarket, at school, at work, in the airport concourse wearing the Apple Vision Pro headset? I doubt it. But $3,500 is a tall order when you consider you can get a very powerful Mac for under $2,000 these days and get a very well-equipped MacBook Pro where you can do video editing and a ton of stuff on it for less than $3,000. The cost to benefit ratio for this thing is not very good. Again, who is this for? I've talked to a lot of people, friends, clients, colleagues, neighbors, a lot of hardcore Apple users, people that will run out and buy whatever new comes out. Not a single one of them is going to buy this thing. And a lot of them can afford it, no problem, but they're not going to buy it. There's YouTubers out there that run big Apple channels that are not going to buy this thing. So, who is it for? I'm convinced that if Steve Jobs was still around today, he would have developed the Vision Pro, but he would have developed it in secret, had people using it on the Apple campus in secret, and would have developed technologies from the Vision Pro and used them in other products that the market was ready for. I don't think the market is ready for the Vision Pro. Now, the Apple Watch OS 10 has a double tap feature that was developed from technology from the Vision Pro. And these are the types of things that we're probably going to see over the next couple of years from the Vision Pro. But as it being a product ready for mass market, that's a big question. The other thing we have to remember that it is a first generation product, and all first generation products do have issues. People who have used it said it's very heavy, weighs about a pound, doesn't seem like a lot, but when it's hanging off the front of your face, it gets very tiring. And if you listen to the videos of the people who've experienced this thing, they say it is heavy. So spending $3,500 for basically a pain in the neck, I don't know. I don't know about that. The other thing is, it only has 2 hours of battery life. You have to wear the battery pack on your belt. It's kind of weird, but I guess if they put the battery in the headset, it'd be even heavier. But there's only 2 hours of battery life. So they say you can watch a movie. What movie today is less than 2 hours? Every movie I see is 3 hours plus, sometimes longer. It's crazy. So there's no way you can watch a whole movie on it. And if you can and hold your neck up with the heavy thing for 2 hours, good for you. Also, if you have a problem, how are you going to get any support? If you have a problem with your Mac, you can show somebody, you can have somebody come to your desk, you can have somebody remote in. If you have a problem with your iPhone, you can show somebody. Problem with your Apple Watch, it's fine, you can walk through it. But with this, it's on your head. You're seeing what you're seeing, so it's going to be very hard to troubleshoot that and to help somebody. So it'll be interesting to see what Apple puts in place so that people can actually get support. I want to talk a little bit more about the isolation because it is an isolating device. And if we learned anything over the past couple of years, losing that human connection, that connection with others is very unhealthy. So having a device that basically walls you off from the world, I know you can interact with the virtual world, great, but it's not the same. We learned this with Zoom or even working remotely over the past couple of years. Yes, virtual office is great. Talking to people virtually is great, but nothing beats shaking somebody's hand, being in the same room, one-to-one interaction. That makes things happen and make things a lot better. Interacting with fellow humans is good, which means we need more of that in technology, not less. And Apple Vision Pro, unfortunately, is more isolating than it is something that can bring us all together. But I'd like to finish up by clarifying that I am a fan of the Vision Pro. I think the innovation is 100% Apple. They took something and they made it vastly superior, especially with the operating system. But my question is, with the high price and the narrow market, who is this for?